All right. Hope everybody's doing okay. Again, another freaking cold night. I mean, it's really cold. It's going to be down in the 30s here in Florida. And up in northern Florida, we live in central Florida, up in the Panhandle. I have a friend that lives around Fort Walton Beach, and they have like snow. I mean, lots of snow. It's crazy. They've never seen that much snow in northern Florida. So yeah, I asked him if he wanted me to send him a snow shovel. Anyway, but yeah, it's real. So I wanted to show you this. I'm going to talk later on. So fair warning, I'm going to talk at the end of this video. So it might be long. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to talk about guitars and stuff. So this lick I'm going to show you right now is a build off of the dominant 7th scale. Some of you guys probably call it the Mixolydian. I refer to it that way, as well as dominant 7th. All you're doing is flatten the major 7th down to a flatted 7th, and just it's the rest of the major scale. Here's an A major scale. Got the G sharp note there. But if you take that major 7th and flat, now you have the dominant 7th scale. I mean, yeah. So don't make the mistake, though. A lot of people make this mistake. They see that 7th scale is the same as a D major scale, and they go, oh, it's a D major scale. Don't think like that, because it'll mess you up. You know, I did that for a while when someone showed me that, and I'm like, oh, it's the same as a D major scale, you know. It's a D major scale for sure, but we need to train ourselves as musicians not to think of it like that, you know, because if we do, you start thinking about D major, you're going to be trying to play D major sounding riffs against an A dominant 7th chord. And it'll probably sound okay, but it'll sound different. But you want to treat it as a dominant 7th scale. But anyway, so this lick, I stole it probably, I think, I don't know, Matt Schofield, Josh Smith, one of those guys I heard play it, and I learned it. And it's right out of the dominant 7th scale. So it's so that's the two. There's actually two licks there. That's, you know, over the 4 chord, the D chord. But over the A chord, it's doing this. That's all right out of the dominant 7th scale. You're doing an arpeggio of a G chord here. So let me tell you how to play that. So again, it's an arpeggio of a G major chord, which is one of the chords that's formed from that dominant 7th scale. I'm not going to get into a theory lesson right now, but trust me on that. So I slide from the 4th to the 5th fret on the D string with my 3rd finger, then to the 4th fret of the G string with my 2nd finger, then 3rd fret with my 1st finger on the B string. Then I slide from the 5th fret to the 7th fret with my 3rd finger on the B string. Then I play on the 5th fret of the high E string with my 1st finger. So then I slide with my 2nd finger from the 7th to the 8th fret on the B string. Then I play on the 7th fret of the high E string with my 1st finger. So now we have. Then I slide from the 8th fret of the B string up to the 10th fret Then play on, that's with the second finger on the B string. Then play on the ninth fret of the high E string with my first finger. So now we have. Then I slide from my 10th fret. I might slide from the 11th fret. Let me do it. Yeah, from the 11th fret to the 12th fret on the B string with your third finger. Then play on the 10th fret of the high E string, first finger. Then I slide from the 12th to the 14th fret on the B string with my third finger. Then I play on the 12th fret of the high E string with my first finger. So let me play that much. Then you do this. That's all on the high E string. You do a hammer on pull up. And that's on the, start on the 14th fret, you do a hammer on pull off, then you pull on off down to the 12th fret. That's done with your second and third finger. So we have. Then you come up here to the 15th fret. That's that hammer and pull up there is from the 14th, 15th fret, second and third finger. Then you go to the 15th fret of the B string with your third finger, back to the 12th fret of the high E string with your first finger. So now we have. Then you slide from the 13th to the 14th fret with your third finger on the B string to the 12th fret of the high E string. Then you come up here and do a pull off on the B string with your second and first finger, like that. 13 to 12, pull off. Then you end here on the 14th fret of the G string with your third finger. So I'm going to play it real slow. That's how that last part sounds up to speed. So let me play this. And that's going to come in right in the on the A chord, leading to the 4 chord, A to the D from the 1 chord. I'm going to play through the whole 12 bars, and then I'm going to play it on the second 12 bars. I'm going to go into that. So let me, I'm just going to randomly play stuff. Probably play a bunch of wrong notes. I'm not having a great day today, but I'm having fun. So that's how that sounds, and then I played the other lick there too on the 4 chord. So that lick is played like this. Start here on the 14th fret of the A string, and do a hammer on. That's first finger. You hammer on your second and third finger on the 15th and 16th fret. So. You go to the 14th fret of the D string with your first finger. Then you go to the 17th fret of the D string with your third finger. There I'm hitting that that B flat note. It's kind of a diminished idea there. It's kind of, you know, that's where that note is coming. So on the 15th fret of the G string with your second finger, and I pull that off down to the A note. On the 14th fret of the G string with your first finger. Then back to the 17th fret of the D string with your fourth finger. Then you go from, on the D string, 14th fret, first finger, 15th fret, second finger, 16th fret, third finger. So we got then I play on the 15th fret of the B string with my second finger. So you could, I think I slide that, to be honest. I think some, then I slide the second finger up to that 18th fret. Excuse me, 16th fret, my bad. So we got so I'm going to play one more time with this track, and again I'm just going to jam over the first 12 bar blues, and then I'll play it in the second bar. Alright, here we go. My bad. Boy, I stopped late. My bad on that one. Let me do it again. Told you I was having a bad night. Yeah, I overplayed there. So anyway, I'm gonna pay attention this time. So that was it, and learn it's cool. They're cool licks. So anyway, I wanted to talk about guitars for a while. Not too long. I won't be too long. But I wanted to talk about my buddy's store. Even if you don't live in Florida, you can still check out his store. He has a website, and I'm going to put the link to that website. But this guy does great vintage, mostly guitars and amps. Every once in a while he'll get something different, but trust me, his guitar selection is amazing. And I've known this guy for probably, his name's Jimmy Borson, he's the owner. I've known him for, probably 40 years now to think about it. But we go back a long ways. Back in the 1990s, I've told you guys this, I owned a store. Me and my wife had a store called Six String Music. And I had a vintage corner in my store, and I collected vintage stuff. And he used to come in and buy stuff for me. And so now the tables are turned. I don't have a store. He has a store, and I buy guitars from him. In fact, I've bought recently a couple really nice tellies. I think I've played one of them, or maybe both of them. One was kind of like a surf green, sparkly Strat. Both of them were custom shop limited editions, and they're both great sounding and great playing guitars. But I bought some other nice vintage stuff from him. I bought a a 1974 ES 175 that is like dead mint. You could put this. You could put this guitar. Maybe I'll get it sometime and put it in one of the videos and show it to you. But it's like a just dead mint 74 ES 175. It's sunburst, and I mean it should be in a museum probably. It's that clean. I mean there's not a blemish on it, and the chrome is perfect. And I bought a couple. I bought a Stevie Ray Vaughan. The first year they made the Stevie Ray Vaughan Strat, I bought one of those just to have it because I'm such a big Stevie Ray Vaughan fan. And I bought some other arch tops from him. I collect some arch tops. I have some nice ones, but you know, I don't. I used to. There was a short, brief period in my career where I played jazz, but I just never pursued it. It's just I love to listen to jazz guys play, and I can fake my way through it, but it's not the real deal when I play it, and I know it. So it's like, yeah, it's not me, you know. And, I feel playing blues. I love playing blues, and I think that's part of the my DNA was, you know, the old guy classic rock guitar players, Hendrix and Joe Walsh and Santana and all those guys. But all they're playing when you when they do interviews, they listen to all the blues guys. So, and then once I heard B.B. King play, it was like, okay, it's over. I love playing blues, and I feel it again. It's all about feel for me. It's like I can really feel playing the blues stuff, and I don't consider myself that good at it yet, but I'm getting there, you know. So anyway, if you can, I'm going to put a link to my friend's store, Jimmy's Vintage Music, and he's had guys like Joe Bonamonso's bought some stuff from him, Chris Stapleton. You know, he has some really cool guitars. So if you can, you know, go to his website and look around, you know, and he has a lot of cool Fender, you know, Strats and Tellys and 335s and Les Pauls. God, he has so many Les Pauls, it's ridiculous. Let's put it this way. He lives in Auburndale. I live in Lakeland. And I tell him this all the time. I'm glad you don't have a store in Lakeland because I would never have any money. Auburndale's about a 25 minute drive, which I know isn't long, but I just don't feel like driving that far on my off days from playing. It's like but I do get there I get there about probably once, maybe twice a month, and every time I do, I always fall in love with some guitar and go, okay, all right, I'm gonna buy it. So, you know, when you you have the what do they call that disease, the guitar acquisition syndrome. That's what I have for sure. But I love guitars. I mean, you know, I'm not gonna lie. I just love. I love owning them. Again, I don't play all of them, but they're part of my retirement. You know, because being a musician most of my life, you know, I mean, I went for years and I didn't know anything about, and I probably didn't make enough money to be honest to pay taxes on, but. You know, so my Social Security is very minimal, so my retirement's going to be selling all my collection. So anyway, and I have some cool amps. I collect amps as well, although I've sold some. I used to have a lot of Tweed amps, Fender Tweeds. I kept the most rarest, I think. At least I was told by somebody this was one of the rare ones. I have a Tweed Super, and it has a 15 in it, and it has an original speaker. And the guy told me, he said, I think Fender only made about 20 of these. And I said, wow. And I had it in a shop one time over in Orlando. You know, when amps get old, the caps get old, and you have to have them, you know, some of the parts replaced. Well, there's a guy in Orlando. His name is Bobby. Can't remember his last name. But he'll only work on vintage amps and repair them with vintage parts. So, if you need a cap replaced, he'll find a vintage cap to put in there that's good. So it's like, is it all original still? No, but it's still vintage. So anyway, I had it over there in his shop one day, this tweed super with the 15. He called me up one day and he says, "Hey man, some guy wants to buy your amp." And I said, "Oh, well, I really don't want to sell my amp." And I said, "What's he want to pay for it?" And you got to understand, this was back in I think this was the 1990s. I had the store, I know that. So it was in the 90s. And I said, "So what's he want to pay me for it?" He said, "Well, he'll probably give you like 10,000." I'm like, 10,000? I'm like, that was a good offer, but I just thought, no, I'm going to keep it because I already knew it was pretty rare. So, but I don't have I used to have some really nice a tweed champ, a tweed a twin, but I sold most of that stuff. Still have a 65 blackface super. I love to play through that. Again, the only problem is to get it to sound good, you got to play really loud. But man, when you can crank one of those supers up, those old ones, they sound so good. That was a Stevie Ray Vaughan thing, he loved playing through supers. But I have what do I have? I have a Clark amp that's really cool. So I don't know if anybody's ever heard of Clark amps. They're a boutique amp, and I believe they're built in I want to say South or North Carolina. But you can go online, look at the amps. Guy builds, and he uses Fender diagrams to build his amps. But he's a great builder. But I was at Thoroughbred Music. Again, this is a long time ago. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of Thoroughbred Music in Tampa, Florida, but it's gone now. Um, but I used to shop there, and I was in there one day, and I saw this Clark amp, and it was purple. I thought, dang, this thing's cool looking. Purple Tolex. I don't know if you can see it in the. Well, you can kind of see it in the video. The ES335 over there, right there. That's the Clark amp. I know you can't probably tell it's purple, but it's a really nice dark purple color. And so anyway, so I bought this amp, took it home. Didn't know nothing about Clark amps. I played through it and loved it. And it's designed after a basement amp, except he put a spring reverb unit in it, and the reverb just sounds lush and has vibrato on it. Vibrato sounds good on it, you know. So anyway, after I'd owned it for a while, I thought, wonder how old this amp is, and I got to look, and there was a plate on the back, and the serial number was 0000, and I thought, wow, this has not even got a 1 on it. And so I ended up calling I'm trying to remember his first name. Um, I'll have to look it up, but anyway, I called the number. I did some research and was on the internet and found the number to call for Clark amplification. And so I called him up and I said, "Hey, I got this purple Tolex, and it's like an old basement." And he goes, "You got that amp?" And I said, "Yeah." He says, "That's the first amp I built." And I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, the serial number is 0000." He says, "Yeah, it's purple." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, that's the first amp I built." And so he kind of wanted it back, and then I just couldn't get rid of it because it just sounds so good. Um, I just, it's kind of like, I love the amp, so why should I sell it, you know? But anyway, I may sell it to him one of these days. But I asked the guys at Thoroughbreds who it belonged to, and they wouldn't tell me. They said it belonged to some celebrity guitar player. I'm like, well, who did it belong to? They would never tell me, so that's a mystery still for me. But at one time, somebody probably famous owned it, which means nothing either, but it's kind of cool that to know who it belonged to. Um, but anyway, it belongs to me now, and I love it, and it's got great tone. It sounds just like a a 59 Bassman at Tweed. I had two of those. Those are two amps that I sold as well. And that's kind of like the holy grail of amplification, a Tweed Bassman, especially the 58 and 59 ones. And I had both of those. But I sold them. Miss them. but this amp sounds just like those. I mean, I've A and B'd the old 58 and 59 Bassman right next to the Clark amp, and I couldn't tell hardly any difference. So I wish I could remember Clark's first name, but I can't. But anyway, so if you get a chance, check out Jimmy's Vintage in Auburndale, Florida. I'm going to put a link to their website. Go up there and look around, and you might find something you like. But I hope you enjoyed the lick that I showed you. And there's no substitute for this, and it's called practice, and do that. Practice a lot. But what else do I have on my mind? Who knows? Anyway, it's cold. It's cold in Florida. Can't believe it. We had snow. But anyway, if you live up north, God, I'm looking at some of the temperatures up north, and I'm sitting here thinking, oh, it's going to be in the 30s. It's like minus 15 and 20 in a lot of places up north, so I'm not going to feel bad. Besides I'm inside. But listen, tell your friends, your neighbors, your dogs, your cats, all the people you can. And if you like this video and you like my other videos, subscribe to my channel, and it'd be much appreciated. And y'all have a blessed evening. All right. See you soon.